to the program there and building on it?
Yeah, I think we were blessed, obviously, to have a number of players that were there for my tenure as an assistant and associate coach that I recruited that were very talented, obviously, and then we also were able to mix in talented players like Aleeah Hanford, who really helped us sustain in Indonesia now. But I don't think we've changed a lot. I think we've continued to stress our defensive mentality as being the backbone of how we're going to play. As you saw last year with the statistics within the league, we're right at the top in most every category there are on the defensive side. So we continue to build our system around our defense, but also I think it's about creating the culture and the atmosphere of winning. And there aren't that many programs in the country. There's only 19 in the last 5 years that have gone to 5 straight tournaments, which is about 5% of the country, which is pretty impressive. And the other team is in our league. So you have 2 teams in our league who have done that, which is great. But I think that defensive piece for us and how we, as far as that being our backbone, that's how we've kept it going. And we've been able to recruit some very talented players, to St. John's.
And I saw Aleeah was first team all-conference last year. How would you describe her talents and what she brings to the team?
Yeah, Aleeah was an unbelievable prospect coming out of high school, and she's only improved from where she was. She is kind of the quintessential electric guard, athletic on all aspects of the floor, rises on her jump shot, which she's improved tremendously from her freshman year. Her ability in transition is second to none to anybody in the country. And her defensive prowess now has really made her a complete player. She has made plays for us down the stretch that have won games, whether it be a defensive stop, whether it be a bucket to beat Texas A&M last year. She has made big plays for us. She doesn't shy away from the big moment. And her game really had to improve from the outside. She's done that, and so I would expect a big year from her. She kind of makes us go, and I've been very proud with her growth, not just as a basketball player, but as an individual too. In her 2 years with us, so just very proud of all of her accomplishments. And then coming into this year, we think she's going to be obviously just as good as she was, and we hope she's going to be even better for us.
And Eugenia McPherson is gone now, and I see you've recruited a pretty highly recruited point guard, Tamisha
Sox, Alexander, yeah.
And do you see her just stepping in right away and taking over, or where does that stand?
Well, I think Aleeah Lewis right now is the one that's going to be guiding us at the point. She was a freshman last year out of Staten Island, played at Bishop Ford High School, and she actually started 10 games for us last year at the point, beginning of the year, while Gina was still out, and then was able to play in and out throughout the rest of the course of the season. So Aleeah's got to be kind of the tip of the sword, so to speak, on both ends. She's a great defender, but she also has to be our floor leader and our floor general offensively. And Sox then has to also be able to not only be mentored by her, but also to be able to spell her during games. And Sox has shown great improvement from the summer. And I think it helps Aleeah Lewis as well because they can't play 40 minutes. And I think we've been missing that piece. We haven't had 2 point guards that we could play. So I think it adds depth to us that we haven't had in years prior.
And how has your recruiting changed over these past 2 years? It looks like you're getting out there pretty far and wide.
Yeah, you know what? The beautiful thing about being in New York City, being at Madison Square Garden like we are today, is that we can recruit nationally and globally. So we've got young ladies from San Diego, we got a young lady from Minnesota, and another young lady from Madrid, Spain, that are freshmen this year. And Sox is from Philly. But it allows us to branch out. We've always been able to. Obviously, every year is cyclical in recruiting as far as the area. We know New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut have been very good to us, and we know that those are the battlegrounds that we have to make sure that we take care of first and foremost. However, we felt that we were addressing needs in our program with the players that we brought in, and I'm very excited about the group that we have that are the 4 freshmen, and also we have 1 transfer that we have that are the new faces in our program.
And do you think it can be a special class?
I do believe that. I think their growth is going to come in time. I think we've got a number of players who have showed us some really great spurts, as any freshmen do. I also think they've shown the areas in where they need to get better. But a lot of that is predicated on getting experience and getting exposure to the different speed, the different physicality of the games when they come. And I think that our preseason, or I should say our non-conference schedule, will allow us to really see where they are.
Right. And who else besides Hanford would you say are players that you will really rely on extensively this year?
Yeah, I think the best part about our group, I think we feature a good core that returns. The young ladies behind me, and Denasia Grant and Amber Thompson, and one that's not here, who not many talk about, who I think is going to be really important for us, is Jade Walker. Jade Walker has, she's lost 15 pounds. She was hurt for about 2 months last year, beginning of the year. So her growth was a little bit stagnated because of that. And by the end of the year, as everybody watched, she was one of our major factors, playing not only in the NCAA tournament but in the Big East tournament. So those 4 players will be the backbone of what we're going to do. And then also, obviously, as I spoke to you about Aleeah Lewis, but our bench is young. And that's the biggest difference from last year. With Amani Littleton, who I think can be unbelievable. Crystal Simmons from Spain, who's been probably the standout of the group. And then you've got to Noah Wade and Sox. Will have to play. They're going to have to play. We also have a young lady in Kyra Dunn who's waiting to be cleared on an appeal, who can play right away as a fifth-year graduate student, who gives us more length. We're bigger than we've ever been. So it's very interesting, the team that we have. We've got more depth up front than I've ever had. I've got 5 to 6 players that I can play up front that give us length, size, speed, and fit into how we play. So.
And you mentioned Simmons stands out among the newcomers. What is it that you like about her?
Just her motor. She's a great defender, and as I said, I think that's something that's important to how we play. But she also gives us the ability to shoot the 3, and so that's been the exciting part of probably her surprising us with her outside game a little bit more than we thought. And so she's one of the players who can give us some ability to stretch the defense, to open up the floor a little bit more for our other players to get to the rim. And she comes in to work every day. And so she's been fun to watch. She's been exciting to watch. And Amani Littleton and Noah Wade both give us size. And I already spoken about Sox with her ability to back us up at the point guard. So it's a nice group, and it's a good group of players of the cross section, so to speak, where you've got different spots that you can put them into. Versatility.
And do you feel like you're pretty well positioned to continue that run of NCAA appearances, or does a lot of that depend on the maturation of the new faces?
Well, I think we've put ourselves in a great position to be able to do that, but I also think there's a lot of factors that have to come into play. With staying healthy is always important, and then also seeing how quickly our freshmen will mature. I think we've got a great group that return that we feel very comfortable with. I think we've got obviously a talented young group that has to show maturation, but I also think we've got depth in more positions and we have size in more positions. So it's been fun as a coach to be able to play around a little bit more than I've been able to with size, and I could put a lineup on the floor where we're 6'1" and bigger in every position. So it's interesting. You kind of tinker in it with the things a little bit in the preseason, but something for people to think about too when you've got different types of players now. We're not as small as we were in years past.